As his poll numbers slide, Donald Trump has started laying the groundwork to question the results of the 2024 election. He claimed President Biden's exit from the race is unconstitutional. It is not. He's claimed the vice president's crowds are AI generated. They are not. And he is building a false claim that Democrats are somehow trying to cheat him before a single ballot has even been cast. Also not true. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell is back with us. No real surprise here.
Yeah, but he is, as Michael alluded earlier, he's getting better, right? I mean, he's learned from what didn't work in 2020, and he's almost setting the predicate much earlier. And so we have to really inoculate against and guard against intimidation that you're going to see of poll workers or suggestions that it's rigged to try and suppress people from even turning out. And we have to be the party that always, always, always prefers voting over violence.
I think that it's important to really kind of stress both those points, that right now what you're seeing is an example of the thinking, meaning they're saying they're looking at the polling, because the polling at one point had Donald Trump up ahead, right? The implication is we're going to win, right? Okay, fine. Now that he's behind, the implication is they're stealing the election. So the idea that they're going to use little metrics like polling, which we know any given day it could be anywhere, right? As a basis for arguing, making the case to voters, see, they're stealing the election because I was ahead, now I'm behind, therefore something nefarious must be going on. That's how deep into this is going to go, and it's going to get harder once you turn past that corner of Labor Day and everyone is really geared into the election to fight these narratives, because this is all part of the 2025 Project 2025 playbook. To sort of put in motion narratives that undermine our trust in our system.
It is, when we went to break, I'm like, y'all, he didn't learn anything, but you are absolutely right. He learned you got to start a little earlier. You got to say it often in terms of if you want to undermine the election. He is consistent, I would argue, in understanding how to manipulate the conversation. So the very well-meaning people who support him believe what he is saying. I keep going back to that 60 Minutes interview that he did with Leslie Stahl while he was still president. And Leslie Stahl talks about the interview in a panel conversation that she did after the fact, and said that Donald Trump told her when it was just them in the room, her and her producer, that, oh, well, that's fake news. And she's like, it's just us, really. Like, the cameras are not on. And he's like, I do this because if I say it enough, then the people will not believe what you all report. It's intentional.
When we talk about who's gotten better and who's gotten worse, I also think, though, Democrats have gotten better about understanding that they also need to get out in front of this, both by talking about the potential threat and talking about how enthusiasm is the only antidote. I want you to take a listen to Tim Walz talking about how Democrats, despite all this enthusiasm, remain the underdogs. Take a listen.
Our campaign is the underdog campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And with our joy, we also have to understand that we're still up against some forces.
Yes.
That are trying to divide our country. It pains me the kind of division and the stoking of divisions that has taken place, right? And when we can remind people and create a space for everyone to come where they see each other and say,
magic.
Hey, we're all in this together.
It almost feels like everybody's coming out of their house after a blizzard and, a Minnesota reference, and you shovel out, and then you start talking to your neighbors. How was it the last couple days or whatever it might be?
I think that's exactly right. It feels like we're in like an aftershock.
Yeah, and also, if defeating Donald Trump doesn't motivate you, the spawn of Donald Trump and their potential should, right? Because there are some scary successors out there that he has put in place. Donald Trump is almost 80. It's not a surprise that he picked a 39-year-old, to be his successor. But some of the other scary successors are people like Mark Robinson, who's running to be governor of North Carolina, who has said that the Holocaust is hogwash, who said that women should not have the right to vote, and it's time to start shooting some people. So we have the opportunity, and part of that joy for the country, for our kids, is that not only can we beat Trump, we can bury Trumpism this November. But there's still a lot of work to do.
Right. It feels like we have been living in this particular era of American politics for a very long time now, right? Where we have seen the dark side of American politics come into power. We have seen it ushered out of power, and now we see it vying for complete and total power. And I think that's part of in your new ad blitz, where you are working to try and engage some voters who have not traditionally been engaged, part of the messaging. So let's look at one of those ads and let's talk about what you're trying to do.
I love you. Have a great day at school.
Dictator on day one.
There will have to be some form of punishment for women.
Roe versus Wade was terminated.
Fire, fury, bloodbath. Now get in.
You know what, honey? I'm going to drive you today. Besides, can convicted felons even drive school buses?
If you wouldn't trust him with your kid, why would you trust him with your country?
We got about a minute left.
Fair
Who do you think
question.
that reaches?
Moms, normal people, and we need to be more basic and simple in our messaging. For too long, Democrats have been trying to win a Harvard Law School moot court competition, and this is just a gut check. It's a gut check at the local bar with people who are very, I would say, demoralized and dissatisfied with politics, and we just have to say, if you won't let your kid get on the school bus with him, we probably shouldn't give him the nuclear codes, right?
Right.
Even if you are not an expert in partisan politics, trust your gut.
Yeah, go with the gut.
I love the school bus piece. That is the heart of everyday America, particularly as kids start going back to school this fall. That imagery is a powerful one, and I do appreciate you making note that you guys have often talked with your heads in the clouds while the rest of us were here on the ground. Welcome to the earth.
Yeah, come back to earth.